Hello, everyone. This is the Spin Zone. Brian Lewis. Welcome to the Premier League Pick'ems. So, over the next couple minutes, I'll go over all the picks, some headlines, starting with Pep Guardiola re-signing with Manchester City. They're playing Tottenham Hotspur under Ange Postecoglou, and I think City have been a little bit down since Rodri's injury. However, I think by now City's going to start to figure out how to play without Rodri, and for that reason, I think I'm going to pick City to win this game. We'll say by a 3-1 score. We'll say a 3-2 score because every time City and Spurs play each other, there's a lot of goals. Now, Spurs have some luck against City in the past because if you remember those Champions League battles, which Spurs got to a Champions League final, just fantastic passion, and then lost to Liverpool. So that's how that goes. But I think City will have the upper hand there. Now, no Reece James in the lineup for Chelsea. I still don't think that will matter against Leicester. Chelsea will win that one. Nothing too crazy. Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. Now, Forest, as Osahan and I alluded to in the episode 3 podcast of Reform Hooligans, we talked about Steve Cooper and a lot of the things he tried to do at Forest, and now they're having a lot of more success under Nuno Espirito Santo and a more intense attack. Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. I'm going to pick Forest to win this one. I think Arsenal are in a bit of a skid. They're going to have to figure out how to really bounce back, heading towards the festive fixtures, getting towards the holiday season. And overall, how they're going to head towards the January window because they're going to need some reinforcements, especially if some teams are going to be going in that direction. So Everton and Brentford. Now, Bryan and Bournemouth is in the Golden Boot race. Good for him. Brentford are playing Everton, who are in the relegation zone. I'm going to pick Brentford to win that game. Fulham and Wolves. Now, the game's at Craven Cottage. Fulham are in the top 7 of the table. Wolves are in relegation zone. I'm going to pick Fulham. Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. Now, Aston Villa are involved in that whole Newcastle threat and the whole thing. And I could actually read into that. So a whole new legal row could erupt. So this is from the Birmingham Mail. So this is straight out of Aston Villa's family tree here. So of associated party transactions, so City warned last week that rushing through changes to rules associated party, so APTs, after they challenged them on competition law grounds. And the Premier League have had issues because they've been trying to penalize Newcastle and Manchester City for having way more. Europe just has a problem of people have extortion wealth and they don't want people to spend it unfair. And watching American sports have salary caps and have success and watching different teams win every year is having some European owners look at the American model and see the money that the American sports are making. And they really want in a part of that. Now, the Premier League doesn't really have issues making money. They have some of the bigger TV deals. They have that Sky Sports NBC deal that with the United States and Canada have exploded. Australia exploded in popularity. That's why the Premier League is the biggest sport in the world, because they have the whole East Coast of support and also the West Coast in the United States as well, but mostly the East Coast. So with Villa playing Crystal Palace, I'm going to pick Villa. Now, Crystal Palace are also in that whole family of ownership with Eagle Football Group involved with John Textor. And with John Textor being involved with Leon, and then so pretty much the whole fiasco in Leon with John Textor, and the fact that like the Leon are going to get demoted to League Two, and when we get to the League One picks in a couple of minutes here, in a couple segments, I'll allude to more of an update on the Leon situation. But overall, not looking too good for Leon because they're going to have to make a lot of money, and they don't have a lot of guys to make all that general sum of money. So that'll be fun. However, I'm going to pick Villa. Villa are, they haven't played well in Europe per se, but they play well in the Premier League, and Palace are a team that are definitely not playing too well. Bournemouth and Brighton, it's a top 12 matchup. I'm going to go with Bournemouth. I like them a little bit more down the stretch. And then when you get to the Sunday games, I'm going to have Liverpool over Southampton. What happens with TAA and Mohamed Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mohamed Salah, is going to be something for future episodes of the podcast, whether I'm able to bring on. So I'm going to be hopping on a soccer podcast on Tuesday, 190 Sports podcast. So that's probably something I'll get brought up, as well as in the future with Osahan and company, where we'll be going to be having probably a transfer portal preview show right after the new year. And maybe right before MLK Day, doing the transfer window deadline deal. show. So we're gonna have a lot of soccer focus over the next couple months. It's a sport I watch a lot too. So there's a bit of that. Now going into Serie A. Actually, no, we have one more game on Sunday before we hit the Serie A. So it's Ipswich and Man United. Now Ruben Amorim becomes the head coach. It's his first game in charge. Sky Sports did the whole feature with him and how they're going to want to build it. I'm sure that Demandi, Georgis, and Queta, they're going to be guys that are going to be linked to Man United. We'll see what happens with Amorim there. But overall, some of the guys that they're looking to get rid of, every time the coach gets hired, especially mid-season like this, especially when it's a scheme difference like the way Amorim is from Ten Hag, you're going to see major change. Now, with that being said, I still think United will pull out a victory. I think they have far more ability than Ipswich, and Ipswich are actually above the relegation zone right now. So good for Ipswich. I hope they continue to progress forward, and hopefully they'll stay up. But overall, that's the Premier League. We're going to go through Serie A, La Liga, and Bundesliga in other videos. So stay tuned.